If food takes up too much mental space, constantly thinking about what you ate, how much, and whether you've been good or bad, it's not just exhausting, it is disempowering. The real transformation begins when you decenter food and you finally take your power back. And that is precisely what I'm going to be sharing with you today. Exactly how you do this and why it's so important. So I just want to begin by discussing with you why food feels like the center of everything. And if you haven't noticed already, we live in a culture where everyone is obsessed about how they look. Now, why is that? It's not because we were born feeling like we don't look good enough, we have to be better. It's simply because you have been marketed and you have been given suggestions your whole life that in order for you to be good enough, you must look like this. And let's be honest, one of the main ways in which we are marketed to is about our weight. Now look, a couple of years ago, big food corporations, they were really cashing in. How were they doing that? With the body positivity movement. Now, the body positivity movement, in theory, on paper, is all about celebrating everybody's incredible bodies, which I am 100% for that. I am like, yes. However, it became something and it was turned into something where it was like almost like the bigger the better. It doesn't matter how unhealthy you are. It doesn't matter what the weight says on the scales. It doesn't matter how you really feel in yourself and what your intuition's telling you. Just ignore that. We'll tell you you look amazing. In the meantime, buy all our plus size fast fashion. Buy all of our sweet treats and unhealthy foods. And I should, as I say, food-like substances, because they are engineered to taste like food, but they are absolutely toxic for our bodies. Okay, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole today, and I'm not going to say that all foods are bad or anything like that. They're not, right? But they are engineered to be highly addictive. So, big food can cash in on this. And now, even better, the pharmaceutical companies are cashing in on this. And funnily enough, if you actually look at the roots, the people who own the big food corporations and the people who are actually owning in charge of the pharma companies, interestingly, they are now going to sell you a jab that will suppress your appetite. Well, it's basically paralyzing your stomach. Okay, no judgment if you are taking these GLP-1s and various other things, but I just hope you understand that's what it's doing. It's paralyzing your stomach. Okay, so I'm not a doctor. You stick to your plan, whatever you're doing. Respect to everyone. But I'm just trying to hopefully shed some light on this for you. So first, what's happening? They're selling us the problem. They're getting us addicted. They're getting us to a point where it's quite clear and obvious to everybody, especially ourselves, that we do not feel good in this body. Why? Because we have abused it. Oh, suddenly the solution comes along. Oh, here you go. This is a quick fix for you. But then that problem is it's just that vicious cycle of going back and forth. It's almost like that whole binge restrict cycle, because what's going to happen when you come off of the drugs? Now, some people, I'm not even going to go into it. It's become like a weight loss injection talk, but it's not about that. The point is, food feels like the center of everything because the media is making it the center of everything. And if you are somebody who is just consuming the media, I don't even know. That's another rabbit hole that I'm not going to go down. But if you're consuming, social media, if you're consuming news, I don't call it news. It's their propaganda, okay? Understand that. If you're consuming that type of content on a daily basis, you're going to be insidiously fed all these messages that you're not good enough, that you could be better, that this can fix it, blah, blah, blah. And when you go on Instagram and all these apps like TikTok where people can essentially change how their whole body looks and their face and everything, and everyone online looks like some sort of a supermodel. How do you think they feel in real life when they're showing up to meet people? Like they don't actually have the confidence because they're like, I've literally put filters on every single photo. I see photos that people post and I'm like, it's becoming like a delusion because these people do not look like this in real life. And it's really, really sad that we feel that we need to go to these extreme lengths to feel good in ourselves. But essentially, diet culture trains us to obsess over calories, obsess over the good versus the bad foods, and constant self-judgment in comparison with everyone else. So what's the solution? Well, what do we know how to do? Every girl who's ever grown up knows, certainly if you grew up like me in the 90s, like that restrictive eating, the 1200 calories, the rigid plans, the cutting out, like, I don't know, crazy, like, whatever. Like, it naturally creates obsession. And what happens is when you are on such a calorie count, when you're on this huge calorie deficit, when your body is actually using so many more calories than you're taking in, what then happens is that you get into a very dangerous mindset. It's a scarcity trigger fixation, because what's happening is your body's like, help, you're not feeding me enough. Yeah, it can last like this. Yeah, it's totally fine to do that, but all my systems are going to slow down. All the things that make you look beautiful and healthy and strong, those processes cannot take place. All right, so without going into too much depth on that, when you are restricting your calories so much, and believe me, I did it for so many years, so I understand this, you are always fixated. You're like hungry, you can't wait till your next meal. When the next meal comes, you have to restrict that too, but your body's like, but I'm really hungry now, so can you not just feed me a bit more? And then you're worried because you're like, well, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to have to do this for the rest of my life? The truth is that food should fuel your life, not be your life. And that's what I want to help you to understand today. So one of the things that really helped me to get to my ideal dream body and weight was when I actually stopped, and I will link this here above, but when I actually changed my diet, when I moved on to a meat-based diet, and I essentially stopped eating anything that was processed. I talk in real depth about that in the last 2 videos. But with that, to start off, it was a bit of a nightmare, because when your life is centered around food and you're always thinking about your next meal because you're so hungry, when you suddenly get to the point when you can actually feed yourself enough calories, you're actually satiated, then you're like, oh, but what now? I normally snack then. I normally have a meal now. I normally, you're thinking about all of that, and it takes up so much mental space. So what I did, and I'm going to share some really good strategies with you in a future video in the next episode, but essentially, when I decentered food, when I learned the strategies, when I started to be strategic about, okay, well, this is the problem. You've been thinking about food this whole time, but now we're safe because now we're actually satisfying our needs. Now we can start to put the focus onto other things. I stopped planning my days around meals, around cheat days or food guilt. So things like, if I was going to meet friends, I haven't done this for a long time, but it used to be, if I was meeting up with friends, we would go for lunch, we would go for dinner, we would go for brunch, we would do something like that. And I just literally stopped doing that. I was like, not even like, hey guys, I'm decentering food. No, but it was like, hey, let's try something new. And I was just quite honest with them. So, for example, for me, I take 2 meals a day. I have one really large meal in the middle of the day. I feel it fuels me up for the rest of the day. It makes me feel great, satiates me, and then I'm having a lighter, still high calorie, high protein, high fat, but it's a bit lighter than that at the end of the day. So I don't have breakfast because I don't feel at this point in my life that I need it. So my friends know, like, I just don't feel hungry for breakfast and I prefer not to eat then. So I give my body a bit of a rest at that time. So my friends know we don't do brunch, but we do coffee. And quite often they'll order breakfast if they are hungry, if they've not managed to have breakfast and it's part of their routine. But for me, I just don't. I just have my coffee. And it's no big deal. But how do I do that? Well, we're having a date. We're chatting. We're discussing what's going on. So my mind isn't focused on their meal. I've not even thought about this before, but my mind is focused on all the other things that we need to catch up and talk about. So it's no big deal. Another thing that really helps is when I actually organise get-togethers and dates that are nothing to do with foods. So we quite regularly will do things with the children, or like that's a really common thing. I mean, when you've got kids around, you don't have time to be sitting thinking about your next meal. Let's be honest, you're thinking about them. Are they safe? Are they happy? All of that. So organising play dates with kids, organising things to do with them, and when it's a kid-free thing, doing things like going to the spa or going for a walk or having a coffee in the sun, but not necessarily having your meals around that time. So essentially, even at the weekend, like even if it used to be that my husband and I would have a nice meal on the weekend, or we'd have sweet treat at the weekend, or we would have whatever. Now I don't do that anymore, but I've changed my almost like rituals that I do at the weekend. So I do my nails at the weekend at that time. It takes me probably about an hour to do these things, so it's quite a good bulk of time. I will do self-care at that time. I will do some preparation for something else. It's just different things that you can do. And I'll give you some more tips about that tomorrow. But essentially, when I decentered food and I stopped focusing my life around that, my energy was just freed up then for my goals, for business, for relationships, for planning amazing things with my family, for planning and refining all the things that I do in my home, and just making things better. For the gym as well, not constant hunger or mental math, okay? Thinking about how many calories was this going to be, or could I swap this for that, or no. I no longer saw food as the reward but the fuel, and that totally broke the obsession cycle. See, when you're not actually eating things that are super high in sugar, your brain, your dopamine is not constantly triggered. And that's another video I'm going to make for you, as the dangers of giving in every single time to your urges and cravings. That's not, people that call it intuitive eating, that's not intuitive eating. No, that's just giving in to every single constant idea that you have, and that's not healthy either. So again, I'll speak about this in a future video, but you need to start realizing that to be consistent, to be successful in life, it's not all going to be the hot, sexy thing. It's not going to taste good. It's not going to be so exciting. It's just standard. It's fulfilling. It's nourishing. But it shouldn't taste like, oh my God, I can't get enough of this. It should taste great. It should taste good, healthy. But that's where it should kind of end. All right? And that's really important to understand. So understanding how toxic sugar is and how bad it is for me and how addictive it is makes it really easy for me to say no to things. And I promise you that the habits can feel very overwhelming to quit. And saying no to cake and chocolates and all these amazing things that we in our mind we put on this pedestal, it's not actually amazing. They're not amazing at all. It's just, if you really break down the whole process, you realise there's nothing amazing about it. It's something else that's holding you back in your life. It's something else that unfortunately has been designed to keep you stuck. So when you learn to essentially change your habits so that you're not incorporating them into your life every day, it's like clarity for you. You can see sugar for what it really is. It's addictive, it's engineered, and it's toxic. And when you just slowly by slowly start removing things, some people at work's cold turkey, like, I am never doing this again. But I don't believe in that. I believe in doing things gradually, sensibly, and being kind to your body. So, like, for me, a while back, I would be like, oh, I'd have a cereal bar as a little ritual in the afternoon when my baby went for a nap. Well, now I don't ever do that, and I wouldn't do that again, because, again, full of these things, even though you think it's healthy, if you look at the oils that are contained within it, if you look at the sugars, all of that, it's another thing that's going to feed your dopamine, not fuel your body. So again, when I cut that out, it was hard the first few days, but I was like, I'm just going to have tea instead. And gradually you get to the point where you don't even need it anymore. It just takes time. So just change one thing at a time. Now I'm going to finish off today by discussing the deeper psychology. I want to tell you and help you to understand a little bit more from a dark psychology angle here. Okay, and this is something you need to understand. This is something that people don't really talk about. You're being manipulated every day by these companies. I want you to understand this. This might help you. When food is at the centre of your life, you're very vulnerable. You're just easy prey for marketers. You're easy prey for social pressure and for diet culture manipulation. When you come to realise how much you're constantly being marketed to, what's going to happen is you're going to naturally pull back from the social media. I mean, I obviously use social media for this podcast, for this channel. I use it as a creator. I'm not consuming it, really. I'm consuming YouTube. I'm consuming a lot of content on there, but Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all of those social media, no, I'm not consuming, and I'm not putting my life out there. So I don't find it's not trapping me. I'm not seeing all of these amazing things constantly about what I could buy, how I could look, and comparing myself to other people. So you step back, and decentering, it makes you sovereign because you are immune to all of that. And what you're also becoming immune to is the whole guilt tripping thing. Have you ever been in company and people are like, oh, go on, just have one. Oh, go on, like, what's wrong with you? Are you on a starvation diet? Have you ever heard that? I've heard that. Oh, go on, it's not going to kill you. Or, oh, go on, what do you think on your last day you're going to really care about that one square of chocolate? The truth is, it's not about the square of chocolate. And, it's not a big deal to them, right? But it's what that leads to. It's like I say, it's the gateway drug. It's the one thing. It's just you've done all this amazing work changing the neural pathways in your brain to be more stable, be more grounded, be more just the way they should be, balanced. And then suddenly you have that chocolate, the engineered fake food that's designed to keep you hooked. You're essentially opting in to being hooked again. Because what's happening then is all these flashing lights, imagine that going off in your brain. Oh my God, this is amazing. Okay, and where does that go from there? So for some people, it's not a big deal. But if you're somebody who has been in restrictive eating patterns, it can be a catalyst and set things like that off again. But you do become immune to this just one bite pressure. And the best thing is that you become immune basically to being pulled back into old cycles, because you basically are like, look, I just don't know why you're obsessing over this. I don't know why you're obsessing over trying to make me do this. And I always just say to people, like, luckily I don't really surround myself with people that do that anymore. But they used to be like, oh, it won't kill you. And you see that they don't want to feel bad because they are doing it themselves. And it's like, I ended up eventually just saying, you don't have to force me to do something I don't want to do just because you do. It doesn't make you look bad. Go ahead. There's nothing, I'm not thinking anything about you. You do what you want. I do what I want. But stop trying to pressurize and force me to do things that I do not want to do. And I know that sounds quite harsh. Unfortunately, I've had to be like that to Like, people will never force me and pressurize me to do what I want to do. I have to do what they want to do when it's harmful for me. I have been through everything. I've been through the 2020, 2021, I've been through everything, and I was able to still stick to what I knew was right. That's confirmed more for me than ever that we need to stick to what we truly believe in, what we have researched. And honestly, nothing will ever make people sway me to do things that I do not want to do now. So, like, I've always been like, no, I'm not doing that, but I would feel bad about it, or I would try and avoid it. Now I'm like, no, why are you trying to pressure me? Don't do that to me. And they will immediately back off. It's not even something that will become a conversation. It's like, don't do that. And if they continue to be, people just don't. They don't. When you have that kind of energy, people know, like, it's not even a conversation. Okay, but people will notice, like, they will project, and it'll be the people that wish that they could make certain changes themselves, and they haven't yet got to the point where they've committed and they're doing it. So they'll project like, oh, why don't you just live a little? But listen, I need you to understand, in this case, their resistance isn't about you. It's about them, and it's about them still feeling trapped. Okay, and they're on their own journey, and we need to send them love for that and just understand that. So again, if you are tired of obsessing over food, if you're ready to reclaim your focus, your energy and freedom, then this is your turning point, and you can absolutely start today. There is tons of content on my channel. I have a playlist for manifesting your dream body, but I also have some other supplementary resources which I think you are going to adore, and one of those is the spark activation. So if you are done letting food dictate your energy and your emotions, then this is your chance to step into the woman who commands her life, her energy and her future. And the spark activation is your next step, because decentering food, it's more than a diet shift. It's not a diet shift. You know what to do. You've got all the information. It's available for free online. You don't need any more information. You know exactly what you need to do to get your dream body. But it's not about that. It's a power shift that you're requiring. It's how you stop being controlled and how you start leading in this direction. So spark activation is built to unlock this version of you. So it's a private, personalized blueprint that shows you exactly how to step out of the obsession cycle and into a higher standard of living, and show you the mindset shifts that you'll need to make to get there. Okay, so the link for that is below. I can't wait to see you there in Spark, but also I can't wait to see you in the next episode, because we're going to be talking about something very similar to decentering food, and it's about stop making food your whole personality. Okay, we're going to talk about that because, funnily enough, we do connect ourselves to food and we do associate ourselves with that. And if you can learn how to actually transmute that energy that you've been wasting, you've been spending, you've been just leaking, into strengthening yourself, making yourself more powerful, making yourself radiate, then you will see your inner power, you will see your whole life grow, you will see everything change, and you will basically grow into your dream body fast, your dream life, everything will start moving. So that's going to be an amazing episode for you. So until then, have an amazing day. Make sure you've liked, subscribed to the episode, and I'll see you in the spark activation if that's for you. Have an amazing day.